And because she knew she was friends with a woman named Annie Smith. And Annie Smith was married to a man named Robert Holbrook Smith, who was a beloved physician in town. He was actually a rectal surgeon, but it was a very, very bad alcoholic. And you can imagine that Akron, Ohio is full of stories about a drunken rectal surgeon. But Henrietta Sieberling brokered a meeting between Bill Wilson and Robert Holbrook Smith. Now, she had to broker it twice because the first time was Mother's Day, and Dr. Bob Smith was too drunk to attend. There was a joke that he'd come home with a potted plant, and he had gotten so potted that he was more potted than the plant. He was passed out under the kitchen table. Dr. Bob was not super excited about meeting this guy. But the next day, they gathered him together and carted him over to the gatehouse of the Sieberling property in order to meet this so-called reformed drunkard from New York City. And as he walked into the room, he turned to his wife Annie and said, "I'll give him 15 minutes." And they sat down in the Sieberling Gatehouse, and you can go there. This is a historical site now as well. And you can actually visit the gatehouse where these two men sat down. Right. Dr. Bob said, "I'll give him 15 minutes," and 6 hours later, they were still talking. 6 hours later. Something happened that Bill Wilson later articulated. Bill Wilson later said that something magical happened when one alcoholic talked to another alcoholic. He termed it the language of the heart. He said that there was a certain kind of magic that took place, and that alcoholics could talk to one another in ways that normal people couldn't. Though we were talking before that shortly after this encounter, Dr. Bob took his last drink. Generally speaking, Alcoholics Anonymous commemorates Dr. Bob's last drink and calls it the anniversary of Alcoholics Anonymous on June 10th, 1935. That's an example of a story that's probably not true, because there's pretty good evidence that Dr. Bob drank after that. And it's just sort of stuck. It's become a custom that June 10th, 1935 is considered to be that date. But it's unlikely that it's true. But what did happen was that Dr. Bob Smith got a sense of this recovery thing, and he was a character in his own right. Not only was he a drunken